The BC Archives is home to some of the most important documents that record the history of this province. But some of them are fragile and have to be digitized to save them. Veronica Cooper explains.
So this is drafting cloth material. So the original would have been placed over top and UV light shone down.
Lauren Buttle is a paper conservator at the Royal BC Museum.
Anything coming out of or going into the institution comes through one of the conservation labs. And the job of the conservator is to assess each item based on physical and chemical stability. So I want to ensure that it's safe for the reader and for the record to be handled, or in this case, to be photographed and digitized.
One of the museum's ongoing digitization projects is BC's trapline maps, dated from 1909 to the late 60s. The maps outline areas registered to licensed trappers, and they were heavily used.
And we've actually got one example of a historical repair here. So this is a really thick paper that's been applied to, as you can see, a very thin piece of cloth. And so over time, this thick paper stays very rigid, forcing the cloth to flex. So around these historical repairs, you can see there's actually more of those soon-to-be breaks happening.
Digitizing these maps will ensure they can be viewed without further wear and tear.
The purpose of conservation work is not to make it look brand new. I'm trying to keep the feel, the original condition. So you can see as it starts to wear, we start to lose some of this original material. And in areas like this where there's actually a lot of information, there's actually a lot of content, that can be quite important. So this needs to be addressed before it's digitized so that all of that information is clearly accessible. On this one side, I've started kind of consolidating the edges. So I've taken a lot of the bits that are starting to lift and I've pasted them back down along the cloth and just reinforced the area with a little bit of Japanese tissue.
There are hundreds of trapline maps to be digitized, and Buttle will patiently and gently assess and treat the damage to ensure future generations can view digitally these historic documents.
The best conservation treatments are the ones that you can't actually see.
This Week in History, brought to you by the Royal BC Museum, bringing British Columbia's stories together.